Hey everybody, welcome to the Indie Film Review. I'm Jared, and today we're doing something a little special.
That's right, guys.
That's right, that's Dan, and we are recording our very special episode at IHOP.
Yay! IHOP, International House of Pancakes, International House of Podcasts, if you ask me, Jared.
Yeah. IHOP is sponsoring. It's our first sponsor, so we're very excited about having this IHOP
guys,
sponsorship.
Get over here. I need some help. Guys.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you're not doing anything, right? Come here. This girl's getting beat up.
Listen, we're doing a podcast right now. I'm a national working podcaster. Okay, I'm pretty famous guy. So if you could just relax.
No, seriously, guys. There's this guy over here. He's beating up on this girl. You guys are a bunch of doofuses. You don't even want to help this girl. And
that's rude. All right, fine. Let's go help the girl. Sure. Well, I can move the podcast equipment.
No, you accosted me and said no, so I'm gonna go to social media and I'm gonna write a terrible review about this IHOP and how the customers are rude.
What do I give a shit? I don't give a shit about this IHOP.
Yeah, get away, dude.
I mean, wait, we do a sponsorship and we love IHOP. Dan.
Just kidding, guys. It's me.
I just want to walk into the ocean.
Oh my God.
I just want to slowly walk into the ocean.
That's not what I want to do. Okay, so guys, I think we finally hit the indie film jackpot. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Every week we hit the indie film jackpot. But this film that we watched this week is so compelling. The film is competently made. It's awesome. But without even trying to be compelling, it is compelling. Because the story just it's the gift that keeps on giving. And you don't want it. You like, please stop giving me gifts. I'm tired of receiving gifts.
It's okay. All right. So the film we're talking about
called Social Media Monster. It was sent to us by our newest, well, he's not a patron, but he did donate money to get on the fast track. He gave us that 5 buckaroonies and he skipped the line. He went to our PayPal. So plug our PayPal, paypal.me.
Plug our PayPal.
paypal.me/indiefilmreview. You can give us a $5 donation and then you get to skip the 6-month waiting list. Anyway, Peter J. Ross, he sent us this amazing documentary that he created called Social Media Monster. And it's, Jared, what is this about? It's your turn today.
What? Me? Okay, folks, you know what? First of all, I just want to say you cannot trust a documentarian with 3 first names. That's all I'm trying to say. This guy's shady. He's hiding something. We need to get to the bottom of it. This is the new podcast, folks.
God. You like our new direction?
Social Media Monster is about a man who visits a small town and basically gets into an altercation, a very seemingly like benign altercation with some people. And that snowballs into harassment on like an apocalyptic level. Like it just keeps growing. And it has actively not stopped. Like it's still happening. Boy. It affected this entire town. This entire town's been racked with this.
We'll get into that. But before we do, special shout out to the filmmaking team. I want to give this plug. If you are in the Grandview Heights, Ohio area or surrounding, this film will scream at the This film will scream at the Grandview Theater on August 28th, 2022 at 2 p.m. The filmmakers will be in person for a live Q&A after the screening. Tickets are $7 and are available for pre-order. We will give you the link, but it's Eventbrite. Just look up Social Media Monster Eventbrite. You will find it.
Hell yeah.
Grandview Theater and Draft House is located at 1247 Grand Avenue, Grand Heights, Ohio. So if I were in the Ohio area, I would totally go see this again.
I would go and do this. It would be so cool if we could do this together, but
it is easily one of the most compelling documentaries I've ever seen. Well, okay, so you remember Tread and how awesome that documentary was?
Yes, Tread was really good. I recommend Tread a lot.
This one is a completely different monster. Like it's the same energy as Tread. But it's cringy because it's so accessible to people.
It's okay. After I finished watching this film, I was like, all right, I'm going to go play Xenoblade 3. I'm going to go play some video games. I'm going to have a great time. I finished watching the documentary, and then I ended up just spending 2 hours researching this movie and the subject and everything about it. And I'm like, oh, I guess all that time's gone. I guess I gotta go to bed now. And then I just sat on my bed thinking about the film, and I'm just like, oh, great. Is this my life? I like couldn't go to sleep. Oh, well, anyways, we do have some listeners in Ohio, so I'm excited. If any of them go and see this, please let us know.
Yes.
But yeah, fuck, we're gonna cover this movie. So they had to change the name of this film because of the harassment that they were getting.
Really? What was the original name of the film?
Let me pull it up.
Because that was like my biggest critique right now is I don't think the name fits. Like I'd like to see a different name.
So it was called Nowhere Man, St. Joseph.
Oh my god.
And then they had to change the name because when
that is a wonderful name.
Yeah, and because it's been doing the festival circuit for like at least a year or so. And anywhere that they would show the film, they would get harassed and potentially like mess with the film festival. And I think they got dropped a couple times. So they changed the name secretly. Well, it's not secret anymore, I guess. But yeah, wow, what a fun time. What a fun time to be alive.
I don't think Social Media Monster accurately describes what happens in this documentary, but in his initial email, Peter said that there's something going on here. And I started to think about that, and I really started to think about the way not necessarily this particular instance behaves, but how social media in general behaves. So I think this film is indeed saying something about social media holistically, not just this pinpointed area, this pigeonholed dude.
Yes.
It's saying bigger ideas, and we'll cover those soon. But first of all, we're going to get into questions. So, Jared, who looks for an apartment to match furniture?
Listen, you know what? I heard this, and the documentary was making fun, or they were critiquing the subject of the documentary, the troll. Or alleged troll. Let's say that.
Alleged troll.
Alleged troll.
Everything is going to be alleged because we don't want to be harassed either.
Allegedly, yes. Well, because here's the deal, too. Well, first I'll answer your question. I think that is something you can consider. It's certainly not on the top of the list of things to consider. That wouldn't be a breaking point. So it's like, oh, I like how this kitchen space is. And, you know, I like how big this living room is or whatever. It's got vaulted ceilings. And also, you know, I think my furniture will really match the paint. I don't know. You just paint it something different. Now that I'm talking it out, it doesn't make any sense.
Almost every time I've moved, I've bought new furniture.
Yeah, I mean, some people can't afford that luxury, Mr. Moneybags.
Yeah, okay, no, we can't afford it either. That's what credit cards are for.
I guess my question to you is it a documentary? Because it's so personal and all of the people participating in it, like the director himself is being filmed and interviewed.
It is
Everyone in the town is being filmed and interviewed.
Okay, so film schooly, there's a guy named Bill Nichols. He wrote a book called Documentary Film, and in it he describes 6 modes of documentary. You have expository, poetic, participatory, performative, reflexive, and
oh, can you do it, folks?
Oh shit.
Will he get the gold star?
And observational. So this covers the gambit of all of those. It's largely participatory, mostly because in the middle, Peter interjects himself, but it is very performative as well because it's like kind of it's addressing not just the universal theme of social media, but just how this town got blindsided by this alleged crazy person.
He says that he's an activist and he's a journalist and a small business owner, which I'm sure all of are true. But the amount of harassment and things that happen with these people that they're claiming is just so brutal. And the things that they're saying that he's done, and it seems like they have proof to back it up. Even the documentary is flummoxed as to how this guy has not gotten in trouble for some of the vile, terrible things, like terroristic things he's done. You would think like, what's happening? And again, everything is ongoing in this, which is so nuts. This isn't something that happened 10 years ago, Dan. This is still happening right now. And it could happen to us.
Yeah. So That's why
So
we're using the
thank
term
you,
allegedly.
Peter, for bringing this up to us. I'm sure it'll only help us. I'm very excited. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I guess in general, Dan, how did you feel about the editing and the documentary process itself? Like,
So at first, I'm like, it was okay. At first, it looks good, but it looks like it's kind of a how-to kind of documentary with all the how-to video with all the cool graphics and things like that. But then you start to get these really cool drone shots of St. Joseph, Missouri, and you're like,
mhm.
ooh, okay. And then you get
You do love a good drone
yeah,
shot.
and then you get these like really crisp talking heads, and you're like, okay, what is? And like the talking heads are just people who are residing in this town, and
Mhm.
it looks amazing. It's shot on red, and red cameras are beautiful. The only thing that I had a problem with in terms of construction is, and like this is really outside of the title, this is my biggest critique. I did not like whenever they cut to other news stories about other people who have threatened media outlets or other people who are like red flags.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because the film was really trying to get you to feel a certain way, and then at times I'm like,
Exactly.
"What? Why are we
It-
talking about this?" You're
well,
like, "Oh, they're trying to show like what he could potentially
yeah,
do,"
and I'm
and I'm
like,
like, "I can come to my own conclusions on that."
yeah, this guy is already giving me the vibe, so let him do the work. Like he's already doing all the heavy lifting. You don't need to
Uh
give
huh.
me the potential or the potential of it.
Yeah, I see that. I think this film was very well made,
Very, yes.
and the editing really keeps you going. Like the film doesn't really sit or stop on one scene or one particular piece. Like there's no like long monologues really. It's really just going, going, going to try to keep your attention. So it's very slick in that way. I enjoyed it. I did feel like it started to lose steam towards the end. Like after the first hour is basically when you got most of the story. Like
Hmm.
you're basically caught up. And then the last 30 minutes is them like pontificating and speculating about this guy and his mental capacity and what's going on with him. Does he have a mental illness? Is like what are his motivations? Blah 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 blah. And that's what I feel like it just starts to get into like this talking head thing. And it's like
Yes.
that's to me not really what a documentary should be doing. I don't know. I'm more of just like, let's just film the subject. We'll find out what's going on. Let's hear the story, and then we can decide how we feel about it. So it's almost like this guy's done so much to them, they don't want to leave room open for interpretation of
Mhm.
how you should think. But I feel like it's pretty evident by the evidence when you watch and listen. Even if they were extremely impartial, you would still probably come to the same conclusion.
So, but what is your conclusion? Like, I guess that's the thing. It became evident very quickly to me that, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but
Uh,
this man, I think, is suffering from bipolar disorder.
yeah, they mentioned that.
Outside of mentioning it, I'm like, it's the manic, and because
Yeah.
they'll have side by side, and this is really what I liked about the documentary. It's like they have him in one scene saying something completely crazy and off the wall, and then in the other scene he's very reserved and says the exact opposite of what he said 3 days ago by the time code.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this is hard for me to watch because I've been around people
exactly,
who have this kind of energy and
yeah.
have been abusive like this before to me, and it's hard to watch. So I think in that sense it might be hard for some people to stomach dealing with this type of stuff because mental illness doesn't necessarily make you there's no correlation between mental illness and being a fucking asshole bully,
Hmm.
right? Or being violent or being anything really. It's not an excuse for behavior. Anybody who has something like this that has mood swings, they can get medication, they can get
Exactly.
help, they can go to therapy like everyone else. It doesn't make you a bad person. You have to choose to want help, I guess,
What
right?
exactly? Now, what I really like about this film is despite the fact that he might have a disorder, he is full of sound bites. And the film takes advantage of this and even puts some of them into text. But this one is one of my favorites. When I stood up to expose corruption in the police and local government and the prosecutor's office in St. Joseph, I had been branded as a fraud. So, Jared, I think we should start spoiling it.
Sure, yeah. All right, so we're going to spoil this film. If you'd like to see it, I believe it is coming out this month. Let's see August 28th at the Grandview Theater. We've already mentioned that at 2 p.m. And then I'm hoping it's going to be available worldwide.
I want, dude.
Very soon.
I want to like show this to my film students because it says a lot about media. It says a lot about just how media has reach. So the first thing I want to bring up, and I think this is like one of the bigger things that this documentary is so focused on this harassment. But what I found fascinating is that the documentary exposes how easy it is for radicalized people to manipulate media to their doing. And if you are not a responsible media consumer, you're going to get dragged into the manipulative message, right? So that's like this guy in the film. He literally like he goes to the newspaper, the local newspaper of this town, and tries to drag people through the mud, and the newspapers shut him down really quick.
He tries to attack city council, the cops, all of the people who live in town,
FBI.
the IHOP, the people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the incident at the IHOP.
Oh, we'll talk about
like the people who work there. That's crazy.
So he tries to drag them through the mud, and the newspaper shuts him down. So what does he do? He starts his own website, and it's a blog, and he starts making these crazy articles. And in the documentary, it alludes to the fact that some people are reading his articles. And we're living in a time now where everything is so super controversial, and nobody trusts, we'll put the media in quotes. But the issue is you've never been supposed to trust the media in the first place. Like, you trust you. The media is a conduit for information, right? That's all the media is. And if you are saying that CNN is something that is, or Fox News or MSNBC, just any of them, if you do not trust them, that's cool and all, but why are you trusting less reputable journalistic source? Like CNN and Fox News, at least they tried to go to school to, be journalists. And even though all media has bias, Yeah. And if you are going to get offended by that, then that's your fault. Like, you don't get offended by that. All you want to do is just, okay, I read that, don't necessarily agree with it, let me read something else. And then that's how you form your opinion.
And also, I think people get enamored by opinion pieces and less about what the news is, because opinion pieces and talking head stuff makes more money. And news outlets are businesses first. And because the US, how it operates, they're looking to make money. So they don't give a shit what they're actually telling you. It's all just to keep you engaged and listening, just like what Facebook does and all these other shitty fucking companies. They're all there just to make money. None of these people are your friends, right? They don't fucking care about you. But it's sad because like we all have to use these things to get our information and interact with others online.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give Dan to Heart to you, Heart to Dan.
Heart to Dan, Dan to Heart.
I think what Jeff and a lot of people are trying to say with content like this is you have to be a responsible media consumer. You have to read things that make you feel uncomfortable. You have to read things that...
Well, this fucking made me feel uncomfortable. That's for fucking
but I'm talking about like uncomfortable meaning like that don't align to your bias.
You mean to get out of my tribalist bubble?
Yes.
And listen to other people's opinions?
Yes.
No! That sounds fucking lame, Dan. Why would I ever do that? I'm going to go look at pictures of cats on Instagram. You can't tell me otherwise.
Let's talk about the incident at IHOP, because I think this is the most hilarious part of the documentary.
This is the reason why people have been harassed for maybe a decade. Okay, so long story short, we got the alleged troll man. He enters IHOP and says, hey everybody, there's an altercation going on outside where this woman is being attacked. I need some help. So he talks to the manager or whatever. The manager's like, all right, I'm going to call the cops. And then he goes over to like a group of just some young guys or whatever. He's like, hey, can you come outside and help me? And he's saying that they said no. And that maybe there was some more stuff to it. They're like, listen, we don't want to go out there. The cops are coming, whatever. So then he starts being rude to them and like calling them like, names and stuff like, hey, yeah, what are your guys' fucking problem? Why don't you want to come help this lady? And then by the time everybody gets outside, like whoever the subject of this issue was, like this woman having an altercation with this man, they're gone now. They're gone.
May not have been there in the first place.
And then it all becomes about, we don't know. I don't know. And then it becomes about the troll arguing with these three men that he tried to convince to come outside to help. And then it's just him filming them and them yelling at each other and calling each other names. They're both kind of being rude and like very argumentative.
And then a homophobic slur gets slung. And the alleged troll claims to be, I don't know, maybe he is, but he claims to be.
Sure.
He claims to be part of the LGBTQ AI community. That's all well and good. Maybe I'll believe you. But then later on in the film, he also says that he's disabled. For a very similar reason. And he starts getting offended because he's being mistreated because he's disabled. So he's starting a pattern, I guess, is really what I'm trying to say.
But yeah, that whole thing of like, I don't know, the victimhood it really rubs me the wrong way.
Yes, it does. Like, that's part of why it's so difficult to watch.
Yeah, and because it takes away from actual victims and actual people who need help when you start doing things like this. And who knows, he might be this and he might be disabled, but I don't like using it as like a weapon to hurt people.
Exactly.
Even if you are those things, to do that is so disrespectful to just everyone. And I think the whole braggadociousness of like, if I meet somebody and the first thing they tell me is like how much money they make or like the car that they drive, is there anyone on the planet Earth who would be like, yeah, I like this guy, I really want to talk and hang out with this person? Like, it's like radioactive, please get away from me.
Speaking of radioactive, Jared,
it's so annoying and obnoxious.
We're not going to go through all of it. You really need to watch it, but we're
already almost done with the episode, and we've barely scratched the surface of this
the radioactive
movie.
part of this film.
Okay, yeah.
He gets so fed up because people are starting to ignore him and just get him out of the...
Because everyone's onto the game,
yes,
right? Everyone's realized that he's just here to cause some shit because it helps his brand, and even us doing this might help that. I don't know. That's the whole thing, too. It's like, the more you react, the bigger everything builds. Yes. And boy,
So he allegedly researches...
No.
He allegedly researches the closest nuclear facility in the area to St. Joseph, Missouri. And he calls in a nuclear threat, saying that if he doesn't get his way, he's going to blow up this nuclear facility.
Yeah. And it's not just like one threat. It's his many, many threats. He's like, I'm there. I'm going to do it. He threatens to kill people. He threatens to harm them. There's so many different things he does. And I'm just like, how is this not, this is past libel and slander, right? It's not, because like those things are kind of hard to prove in court. If you go and sit with someone and you might have a pretty good case, but it's still really hard to do something. Like right now with the Sandy Hook trial, which is pretty relevant right now with Alex Jones. That's an open and shut case. He literally defaulted on it because he didn't defend himself for 4 years. He was doing a terrible job. So like, listen, you're not providing us the information we need. You're basically, we're going to go to the damages trial now. That was very fortunate for them that he just tried to stonewall and fucked it all up for himself. Because again, proving that type of case is very, very hard in court. Doing a libel or slander against someone like this, where they probably don't even have the money, because then you'd have to deal with them in court. You have to go through all this stuff. There's so many ways to slow it down. And it's just a fucking shit show. But the things he's saying in this that the documentary is showing are super fucking like illegal, go to jail illegal, right? And then again, how dumbfounded everyone is by like, how is he not faced consequences for any of this? It's just astounding to me. It's frightening, because how do we not have laws Like, how long has the internet been around? How long has Facebook been around? How do we not have laws against this already?
The internet is still very much the wild, wild west, because here's the deal. Like, okay,
God.
the wild, wild west was finite, right? There's borders, and that's the issue. The internet has no borders, and it is constantly growing. It's like the universe. It's just always expanding, never stopping, never
Whoa,
stopping. And
dude.
I think
You're
that's really
fucking blowing my mind.
really relevant to another thing I was thinking about. The fact that I think that this guy is suffering from mania, the world of social media allows him to be in a feedback loop of that same mania.
Mm-hmm.
And that is crazy. So, like, even if you are not a manic person, that behavior of, like, you get a rise out of reading your own bias, and it'll, like, social media allows you to just exist in that vacuum of your own bias, which is incredible. And I think that's why we have so many issues now, because we have so many people that are just constantly fed what they want to be fed, and they get plump off of it. And then when anything that goes against, you know, it tastes a little bit bad in their mouth, they spit it out, and they get really pissed off, and they call the waiter over.
Like, it's all tailored to you and what it thinks you might like.
Yes.
So what you're seeing is completely different from what somebody else sees. That's including news feed. That's including everything you're shown. So it's like somebody might think there's something like, whoa, there's a big thing going on. Whoa, it's a crazy story in the news. They go to talk to somebody, they're like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Like, I haven't heard about any of this stuff. So I've heard there are laws that are trying to get rid of them using these algorithms to tailor stuff to people, because it's not to educate or inform people. It's just to make money.
Sell. Yeah.
Because they want you to engage. If you're mad and you're engaging, or you're upset and you're engaging in the whatever it is, the news, clicking likes, commenting, you're making people money.
Exactly.
Everything is down to power
and money.
That's all
And
that matters.
The game right now in terms of the engagement is, like, I you can watch so many TED Talks about, like, people trying to get successful on social media, and what makes people successful on social media is monopolizing people's time. Like, you monopolize their time. You want to have the most time spent on your app or your device or whatever.
Everybody does this too. Even the things that you like and enjoy, you're just tolerating it because you enjoy
Everything
watching it. Yeah, they're all evil.
We are evil. We're monopolizing your time right now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, we're joking about the evil thing, right? But, like, it's not necessarily evil. It's business. And is business evil? I don't know. I don't think so. Sometimes I think maybe yes,
Here
but
at
it's
the Indie Film Review, we're all about giving you the business.
Oh, we're in the business of giving you the business. Okay, I need to get this off my chest right now. I think because this is the biggest issue with the film, and this is really important to me. You need to have a content warning before you show me a full up-close image of Mark Zuckerberg, okay? That's fucking terrifying. It's not cool.
That happens, like, a lot.
It frightened my wife. I'm actually, I think I'm going to sue Peter John Ross for doing this to me, because it happens 2 or 3 times during the film, and I was highly offended.
Oh my God.
But I do like the reptilian representation in this film. I really appreciate that. They're really getting the reptilian. I'm joking, but he really did frighten me, because it cuts right to him and he starts talking, and I'm like,
he's talking directly to the camera, so it's like he's talking to you, like he's giving you a lecture. Oof.
I've never seen someone who's more of like, I'm corporate, and I cannot relate to human beings, and I'm trying my hardest to pretend to be a normal everyman. And it's like, dude, just stop pretending. Just stop pretending you're like the rest of us.
Let me see my notes. Oh my God. So there's this guy. He is a city councilman. He has a glorious beard. His name is Brian. Yeah, his name is Brian. And this news source that is created by the allegedly created by the alleged troll, he photoshops a KKK hood on a city councilman and publicizes it on the internet for everybody to, like, he did that. Like, what is going on?
Oh, was that all fake?
Yeah, that was totally fake.
I did see a couple articles about something like he had done something in like 2012 about him doing blackface. And I was like, well, if that's real, I mean, he made a mistake. I don't know.
Well, because there was like they showed the scene where he is talking to the pastor of the town, and he's like, "I'm against homosexuals."
Yes.
And he's like, "Well, you're a bigot."
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's like, I just kind of thought, because I did research on this too, and I thought, oh, maybe he probably did that and he made a mistake. But like, people change. I mean, you're a different person like every fucking 7 to 10 years of your life. I'm not who I was 10 years ago.
2 other things I want to bring up.
Sure.
As far as I can tell, Peter Ross made this documentary because he was selected at random by this troll to harass back in 2012.
Yeah, that was very fascinating. Didn't he like fuck up one of his shows too? Because he was harassing the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
Then the other thing, Peter, can I please have a screener of that World War II werewolf zombie movie? Because I would love to watch it.
Yeah, I want to watch it. Hold on, we're going to plug that. It's called Horrors of War. We're going to watch this film. It's a B movie, Grindhouse
Hell yeah.
film. And it looks really cheesy and really corny. And I watched the trailer and it was making me laugh. So yeah, I want to see this. I want to see this fucking movie.
I didn't even see the trailer yet. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's probably out there somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, it looks fun. I want to watch it. It's fucking Nazi zombies. It's classic stuff.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yes.
I'm sad. Make me happy.
The show's over.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope we don't
get
trolled.
This is what I needed. Oh, you know what? If it happens,
we got trolled for $5.
You know what? It'll be our first troll, actually, because we have not had a troll. A lot of our audience is very nice. Either
yeah,
they.
But I just don't want to get a nuclear threat from this troll. You know, he ruins people's lives. Is all I'm saying. Also, very pertinent to before I close out. What made this film awesome was the alleged troll. Like, we didn't have to coax any of this information out of him. He puts it all on YouTube himself.
Yeah.
So just know that. Like, you will find this to be very fascinating if you haven't watched it yet. All right. Anyway, you can find us on Twitter at IndieFilmPod. You can find us on Instagram at IndieFilmReviewPod. You can email us at theindiefilmreview@gmail.com. We have a Patreon for people who want to donate money to us, $1, $3, and $5. But that $5 tier is primarily for filmmakers because we have a huge list of films. It's about 6 to 7 months to get your film reviewed. Like, let's say you send it right now in August. We probably won't be getting to it until like March. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's rough. But you can give us $5 and we will bump your film to a shorter list. And right now the list is very short. It's about a couple weeks. And then we also have a PayPal, but I already plugged the PayPal. So Jared, you talk about.
Hell yeah. Listen, I want to just plug this social media monster again, because if you're interested, because this is ongoing, so there's going to be updates.
Yes.
And Peter is going to make. It looks like he's working on a series about trolls and like doing like a mini docu-series on it, which I think is excellent. You know, highlight these people. This is fantastic. So I'm pretty excited for that. Go check it out. The YouTube for that is called sonnyboo, SONNYBOO. So go check it out.
Sonnyboo.
Oh, sonnyboo, baby. Thanks again for listening. Go check out the necropodicon.com if you want more interesting podcasts like ours. They got roleplay podcasts. They got, storytelling podcasts. There's a bunch of shit over there. Go fucking check it out. Whatever. So yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it. Dan, you get the final word.
IHOP, more like you limp.
Whoa, insightful.
Necropodicon. Hard to pronounce, easy to listen.